Action.
Yeah. Welcome to Inspire India, one of the topmost coaching institutes here in Hyderabad. We all know that cracking the UPSC examination is a challenge. However, it's a dream of many students here in struggling in their achievement towards their dream job. So from our institute, we wanted to make the path very clear and effortless by introducing our expertise faculties to you all on this platform that is from Inspire India. As a part of this, today we would like to introduce Mr. GOUTHAM sir, who is very expert in political science and international relations, and his expertise is about for 20 years, training many students in his entire career and making them to achieve their dream in the UPSC examination. So in our session of today, we would like to have a conversation with Mr. GOUTHAM sir and know all the details and all the challenges that are endeavored in optional subject. So we go ahead with introducing our sir, and we also go into further details in our session today. So I would like to once again welcome Mr. GOUTHAM sir.
Thank you. Thank
Sir,
you for having
you've
me.
been like very much expertise in this subject
Yes.
since 20 years of your career, and you would have seen many students' experiences, and you would have seen the challenges the students are going through this pathway. And today in our session, we would like to clear all the doubts of the students,
Yes.
because from our institute, many students are coming with many questions like how to select an UPSC optional, and what if it is in a political science and international relations. There are so many doubts for the students, in fact.
Yes.
So we want to clear in our session today. So can we go ahead, sir?
Yes, yes, please.
Before going ahead, sir, we would like to know your details of your political science and international relations and your journey in this as an expert faculty for this optional.
Yes. I've been associated with civil service examination both as an aspirant as well as a faculty. My experience with political science extends to around 20 years.
Yes.
When I started my journey as an aspirant for civil services, it was for the first time in 1998 I took my civil service examination. I went to the interview twice, in 2004 and 2007.
So that's great.
With political science and international relations as my optional.
Yeah, okay, sir.
After that, I could not succeed in the examination,
So-
and then I started taking up a career as a faculty for political science and international relations.
Okay, sir.
I worked in the government sector, in the private sector. I worked in various institutions here at Hyderabad, at Bangalore, and at several other places like Visakhapatnam also, training several students. My experience in political science probably has given me a rare insight in trying to explain to the students the basic concepts in the clearest and the simplest possible way. It also had given me rare insights because I had experience with a lot of students with diverse backgrounds. I've taken classes for students in North, in South, from rural backgrounds, students with Telugu medium background as well.
Yes.
So political science and international relations, I think, is one optional which can give students some special edge in their preparation for civil services. This is one observation that I'd like to make. Both as an aspirant as well as faculty also,
Okay, sir.
I realized that political science had given me an edge in trying to have a lot of information about diverse segments in the civil services preparation itself. This gives students a lot of edge actually.
Yes.
This is the first observation that I'd like to make. My experience with political science had been enriching for me also as a faculty. This is one thing that I'd like to inform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we are so much privileged to have you on this session today. And hope your all your insights definitely going to make our students achieve their dream job and all, sir. So going ahead with our some questionnaire to Gautam sir. So I think students who are actually given these questions will definitely have the answers today in our session. So firstly, we would like to a question, sir. Like how important is like political science as an optional subject? Like what it is the success rate of this subject, sir?
After the change of syllabus in civil services, political science had started to assume a lot of importance.
Okay.
It had become a very popular option in recent years.
Okay, sir.
Previously, political science was not that much rewarding for students, both because of the amount of labor that students required to put in,
Yes.
as well as the amount of marks that they used to secure. Previously, political science did not show a very high success rate.
Okay, sir.
But in recent years, political science tops among several options. At least
Yes.
it would figure in the top 3 of the optionals every year,
Yes.
showing consistently a success rate of 8 to 9% every year.
Yes.
Starting from 2013-14 onwards, if you can look at the statistics
Yes, sir.
of how political science had performed, political science has been doing exceedingly well. As I told you, 8 to 9% is a very high success rate. And this type of success rate can be seen for optionals like sociology,
Yes.
anthropology, PSIR. Consistently, we see political science students in the top 10 also.
Yes.
It shows that the students are succeeding well.
Yes.
Political science is doing well. Political science is rewarding the students well. And that's the reason why political science had become a very popular option in recent times. You see that in 2025 also,
So,
one of the highest number of students have taken their mains was with political science.
Okay.
Of more than 1300 students, they have taken their mains. And success rate of around 8.5% shows that political science is doing well.
yes.
Kabatti political science is
It's a
giving
safe-
it's a safe option.
Yeah. So the student who had given this question had got the answer. So the students who are wishing to have the political science as an optional subject, so here is the answer, sir. It's given by sir. So you can take a decision now. Okay. So going to the second question, sir, can any non-political science background student can opt for this?
Yeah. Political science is an option which is considered normally background neutral. It means students from any type of background can actually take political science and feel comfortable with the optional.
Okay, sir.
The concepts in political science are very general. There is nothing that's technical. There are no formulae.
Yeah.
There are no narratives that students will have to memorize or mug up.
Yes.
So political science is very comfortable. The subject goes in a flow.
Yeah.
It is all analysis based.
Yes.
If the student is able to analyze, if the student is able to, let's say, process the facts to strengthen his arguments. That's the skill to analyze,
Yes.
isn't it? If the student is able to do that well, he can do exceedingly well in political science.
Okay.
The only requirement that students should have as far as
So-
political science is concerned is ability to analyze,
Yes.
not memorize.
No, no.
Subject goes like in a flow.
Yes.
You start with one topic, you build on that in the next topic. The subject goes in a flow.
Yes.
That's the reason why understanding and ability to analyze forms the key in political science.
Yes.
This probably any student can
Do it
nurture this quality.
as a process.
Whether he is a science student or an arts student,
Yes.
student from any kind of background can actually nurture this capability to analyze.
Yes.
That's the reason why I keep saying to students that no matter what your background is,
Yeah.
you can take political science, you can start feeling comfortable with political science. There is nothing that you cannot understand.
Yes.
There are no big formula that you'll have to memorize.
Yes.
You just have to attain understanding
That's all.
and strengthen your capability to analyze. That's the only
So
requirement.
it's
for
as
political
simple as
science.
that, simply to have an understanding capabilities and
Yes.
analysis.
Yes.
And there is no memory part in this also.
There is memory part,
little,
but yeah, of
little
course.
actuals and all we need to remember.
Yeah, a few
Otherwise,
things.
it's not too much of memory
No,
bombarded
you
thing.
don't have to
So I think
overload
students,
yourself.
yeah, students also feel so safe and because they may studying the GS and all.
Yeah.
So optional subject will give a leverage of non-memory part also. So non-political science students also have a good news here that you can take up this. As sir said that there are few general capabilities that are needed to go ahead with this optional subject. So coming to the next one, sir, like what are the major challenges that the students may face during this preparation, like for especially political thought, particularly Western political thought?
Yeah. Now, Western political thought usually is considered to be the trickiest part of the syllabus.
Okay,
But
sir.
actually, if you are properly oriented towards this part of syllabus and you have proper coaching or
Yeah.
proper guidance in the way you pursue knowledge in this part of the syllabus, it's actually very easy.
Sir.
Political thought, particularly Western political thought, forms, let's say, the crux of the entire political science.
So how much percentage of this Western political thought chapters?
The point is, Western political thought starts with thinkers,
Okay.
but the ideas and the principles which these thinkers espouse,
Yeah.
they appear in almost every part of section A
Yes.
of paper 1. That's the reason why this is considered usually as the heart of political science. I mean, what thinkers have told related to the theories of state, that figure in state and its theories. It also figures in the relationship between individual and authority. In almost every aspect of political science, the thought and the thought process of thinkers keep pervading.
Yes.
In that sense, political science section A paper 1 is all about theory.
Theory.
You cannot really master political science
Yeah.
without getting a strong grounding or foundations in theory part.
Yes.
That's the reason why this is the crux.
Yes.
And this actually is very easy, provided you have proper guidance
Okay.
to approach this part of syllabus.
Yes.
One of the major challenges which students tend to face in this part of syllabus is that they don't consult the right books.
Yes.
They don't consult the right literature.
Okay.
They don't really understand the standards that you'll have to attain in
Yes,
this
sir.
part of syllabus. Actually, you can study political science by
Yes,
even
sir.
looking at some basic standard degree textbooks.
Yes.
You find even degree guides also give you some insights into political science.
Yeah.
Plato's thought is there
Yes.
even in degree guidebooks also.
Yes, sir.
But is that the right way to approach the thinker?
No.
Is that the standard that you'll have to realize or attain to take up the examination of this magnitude, civil services examination? That's the key. Students don't really understand that.
Okay.
Students go to the class as novices. They don't know
Yes.
anything. They go to the class with zero knowledge. They blindly think whatever the faculty says is the subject.
That's it.
They start believing in it. Okay, they'll realize their folly, their mistake after they are actually exposed to the examination.
Yes.
Faculty can have a standard.
Yes.
Students can have their standards.
Yes.
But the exam has its own standards.
standard, yeah.
We'll have to reach up to the standards of the examination.
Yes.
For that, I think experience of the faculty is the key.
Yes.
It can only deliver to the students the right way to understand the subject. Everybody teach political science.
Yes, sir.
Okay? But whether they're reaching up to the standards of the examination, that's the
No.
key.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
As far as what I have seen, both as an aspirant also, reaching out to the right kind of faculty who can deliver, who can help you realize
Yeah.
the standards of the civil service examination is the key.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
here the
challenge.
torchlight is a faculty who is dealing with this.
Yeah,
So that
he can guide you the right way.
Yes.
I mean, you have to walk the distance,
Yeah, of
but
course.
the direction
Yes, sir.
he'll have to give you.
So in a simple word, sir, to put it in like 2 or 3 statements, like what is the best way that you tell for the students who are struggling with this Western political thought? One is like standard faculty or guidance support. That is one
Yes,
thing.
understanding the thinker in the right perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're studying, let's say, Karl Marx or Plato,
Yeah.
or if you're studying, let's say, Thomas Hobbes, you'll have to understand the context of the thinker.
Yes.
In what context is he writing? If
Yes.
Plato is writing, he's writing in the context of ancient Greek
Yes.
civilization. If Machiavelli was writing, he was writing at the crossroads of medieval and the modern times. If Karl Marx is writing, he's writing at the time when capitalism actually reached its climax.
Yes.
So there are 3 different eras, 3 different phases, 3 different contexts
Yes.
which characterize a political thinker's thought and his thought process, his ideas. Understanding the context is the key first.
Context.
Second, understanding the overall philosophy of the thinker.
Yes.
What is it that Plato wanted to do?
Yes.
Plato wanted to rid the society of evils which he saw was in democracy because he thought people who were ineligible to rule
Okay.
were ruling the society.
Yes.
That's the key.
So the context has to be
Context and the fundamental thought process of
No.
the thinker.
Yes.
That has to be properly understood.
not simply studying 10 points of Plato or Karl Marx. It's not that it's not
You
going to work
cannot
out.
really tackle the examination.
Tackle the examination.
What happens, I'll tell you, in the actual examination. There are, let's say, 5 or 6 concepts related to Plato.
Yes.
Plato's theory on theory of justice,
Okay.
Plato's ideas on education, Plato's theory of communism of wives and property, Plato's ideas on democracy. There are a lot of ideas and things that Plato had proposed.
Yes.
Only if you have a proper understanding of his overall philosophy, you can actually relate each of these concepts
Yes.
and understand the spirit behind them. That is the way to understand thinkers.
Yes.
If a student is able to understand this in the right perspective, let me be very straight and let me be even very clear that political thought is a cakewalk.
That's
if you can properly understand the thinker.
Yes.
This is a major challenge. But once this is done, the rest of the thing goes in a flow. As I told you, it's very easy.
Yes, sir. So that was a very beautiful answer for which the student who is having the doubt regarding the Western political thought, sir has given a complete clear information and clear details like how you have to deal with this. And so next coming to this, like how current affairs are like important with this political science,
Yeah.
how to integrate
In
in this.
civil services examination, the most important thing in recent times is that you'll have to be current.
Yes.
There is no other way. There is no
Yes.
shortcut. There is no alternative to this. Candidates who are preparing for civil services will have to be update.
Yes, sir.
They'll have to be contemporaneous.
How
They'll
much
have to
percent?
be abreast
Yeah.
with everything that's happening around them.
Okay, sir.
This is a must for every civil services aspirant.
Yes.
But for political science, let me tell you that everything that you study in current affairs helps you build your preparation in political science.
Okay.
And whatever the concepts that you study in political science, they help you better understand current events.
So.
In this way, I'd summarize by saying political science and current affairs have a symbiotic relationship
Yes.
with so much of contribution to each other which cannot be found in any other optional.
Yeah. So students can integrate these things into the GS
Very
and
much.
the GS
Whatever
and
that you study as a
political
part
science.
of your current polity,
Yeah.
your social issues, your international affairs, or even environmental issues also can figure in your answers in
Oh.
political science.
Yes.
Because in political science you have environmental issues as a part of social movements in
Yes.
paper 1,
Yes.
as well as environmental issues as a part of international politics, because
Okay.
environment
Yes,
has
sir.
become an issue in international politics in
Yes,
recent
sir.
times. You
Yes.
have negotiations, treaties,
Yes, sir.
we have conflicts, different principles.
Yes.
Everything that you study is a part of your current affairs in environment, polity, disaster management, and international relations. Everything can be incorporated in your answers. In fact, one secret of getting a very good score in political science is to integrate whatever knowledge that you have acquired in current affairs in your answers in the civil services mains of political science papers.
Yes.
That value adds to your answer, it enriches your answer, and it's very, very rewarding in terms of marks.
Okay.
So every candidate who is preparing with political science should try earnestly to integrate his preparation with, his preparation of current affairs with political science. That's what he should do.
So definitely political science and current affairs,
They
integrated
complement.
study is important.
Yeah, they
so that will
complement
fetch
each
the even GS also.
Yeah.
So both the
See,
ways.
whatever concepts, for example, in studying political science, you understand what is the meaning of, let's say, deterrence.
Yes.
Deterrence, okay? Particularly nuclear deterrence.
Yes,
This is
sir.
a concept that we study in
Yeah.
political science.
Yes, sir.
Today, you try to understand why US is interested in trying to cut or curtail
Okay.
the Iranian nuclear program is because of the concept of deterrence.
Yes.
So, understanding the concept of nuclear deterrence will help you better understand the context of the present war that is going on in
Yes.
Middle East. I mean, political science will help you understand
All this.
current affairs, and current affairs value add to your preparation of political science. This happens unparalleled.
Yes.
No other optional, has such close affinity with current affairs like political science.
So it's so dynamic.
Yeah.
Political
Section
science is
B, yeah.
subject itself is a dynamic, and it will also make a student also source dynamic to crack
Yeah.
the exam.
Actually, even in the static part of the syllabus also, you can incorporate the current events
Yes.
in adding value to your answers. Even in the static part, for example, speaking about the present democracy, you can, supplement your
Yes.
answer of Plato's ideas on democracy with current things which are happening in democracy.
Yes, that makes a wholesome answer.
Yeah, so even static part of the syllabus also can be, added value.
So we can make a relevance.
Yeah, very much.
We can relevance of the political thinkers of today's and all.
Yeah, very much. I told you, right?
Yes.
No other optional, not even sociology also.
Yeah. Yes.
Can value add as much as what political science does
Yeah.
to a candidate's
So
preparation.
there are
for
so
current affairs.
many advantages, I can say clearly,
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
student who choose this option.
Yes.
Okay, then sir, coming to the next question, how can political science help in writing better answers in GS paper 2 or the essay paper, sir?
I mean, the entire general studies paper 2 syllabus coincides with syllabus in political
Yes,
science.
sir.
Indian polity, and in fact, in political science and in preparation for GS paper 2, a lot of
Sir.
students don't make any distinction.
Yeah.
A lot of students don't make any distinction. They consider
Both.
that their preparation for general studies paper 2 is over
One
when
step.
they prepare for political
Political
science. Because
science.
every topic that they study in general studies paper 2
Yes.
coincides with political science syllabus. In fact, if you are studying for optional, you are studying it at a much deeper level
Yes.
with a better understanding, isn't
Yes.
it?
So student have good time investment in this.
Yeah, that's the reason why students who have taken political science, please remember, they
Yeah.
score well in general studies.
Reason
Even
being
this
that-
year's topper also, 2025 topper also.
Yes, sir.
She scored good enough for political science, but she scored exceedingly well in general studies.
Wow. So this is how it is going to fetch in the
Yeah,
GS paper.
that's how it is.
Yeah. Sir. Next, so what's your advice to the students struggling with political science for UPSC, especially for non-PSIR background?
Suggestions.
Yes.
The students should first try and make their preparation in section A paper 1 and section A paper 2 very, very strong. As I told you, this forms the crux of the entire preparation for political science. So paper 1 section A, paper 2 section A, these are the two fundamental parts of the syllabus which candidates have to very strongly focus upon. They should try to attain what's called as conceptual clarity. This is the key. In political science, if you have to get scores, you please concentrate on attaining conceptual clarity. Understand the concept. If you are speaking about, let's say, justice, understand what justice means. If you speak about democracy, understand what exactly is democracy. A lot of students write, pages and pages of answers without actually knowing what is the
Yes.
meaning of democracy.
Yes.
How do we distinguish democracy and dictatorship? Students
Yes.
really don't understand the basic concept behind this. Students tend to think democracy, is all about elections and voting and
Yes.
Electoral behavior and political parties. That's exactly not democracy. We all know that.
Yes.
Right?
True.
So understanding
Those
the
are only
concept is
practices that comes under the democracy.
yeah. These are only the
practices to implement the democracy spirit.
But that's not the concept.
That is not.
The concept of democracy is that the majority people's opinion forms the basis for all public decisions. That's the concept of democracy.
So people students seeing the practices and thinking that that is a democracy and try to put all these things into the answer, making them a boomerang, go around all the topic but not really touching the topic.
The examiner, at least at this level of the examination, will clearly know whether you know the concept of
or not. So that's the key.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
so then, political science students, as I told you, particularly those who are with non-political science background, should try first to get a strong footing in section A paper 1 and section A paper 2, concentrating on conceptual clarity. What do you mean by a right? How do we understand democracy? How do we define justice? It is these concepts which actually make your preparation strong. Candidates should focus on this. Okay. This is actually the first challenge, the major challenge.
So conceptual clarity, students are skipping the conceptual clarity and directly going into taking up the answers and answer writing, taking the few examples here and there, the notes, they're trying to mug up the things and putting the same in the answer sheets and all. So keeping all aside, having first the conceptual clarity will make the very easy way for them.
One big thing that I've observed about students in recent times is that the students are overloaded with lot of information.
Right? So this is one thing we need to address.
Information era.
Yes, this is one thing I think we need to address here. I think this is the appropriate time. So just give your insights on this also.
Students at almost every place, they are obsessed with the information.
Yes, sir.
They want more and more information. But whether they are able to properly understand the context, the relevance of information, and whether the information is actually important for us or not, that is really missing. Students who are in pursuit of information are not able to properly analyze the information.
Yes.
Today, a lot of students have a lot of information about voters percentage, voter turnout, number of political parties, number of pressure groups in this country, and how many members of parliament are actually attending the sessions
and all.
Okay, this is one aspect of democracy. The other aspect is how people are actually exercising their vote.
Yes.
How are they looking at the manifesto? Whether they are really understanding the agenda, whether their participation in politics is effective or not, whether it is rational political participation or not. This is the kind of analysis which a candidate requires to do.
Yes.
Too much of information overload is making students not developing capability to apply that information, to analyze the present facts. Political science, not only political science, even Indian polity also for that matter, requires students to analyze conceptually, making use of all the information. This is what students require to do.
So students should stop the chase of this information.
Too much of information.
Yes, just have the standard information and just
require information.
Try to understand.
Today we are being bombarded with so much of information that students are not even able to make it, to make out which information is important and relevant and it's not.
Yes,
so much of information is available with students.
Yes.
We see so many institutes coming out with so many programs, giving so many,
groups and all.
Information, material and so much. So, optional preparation, it should not be like that.
Yes, so
optional
precise.
preparation should be about understanding.
Yes.
Optional preparation should be about having those special vistas which you require to develop.
Yes.
Optional preparation is slightly different, madam. It's not like general studies. General studies probably you can hanker after information, but optional you require understanding. When you look at the questions which are given in the civil service mains, you will realize that the questions are not so very straight. They require you to apply your knowledge, to analyze the given scenario, to come out with proper conclusions, and show balance in your answers. Subjects, particularly humanities subjects, require this.
Yes.
It requires candidates to practice writing answers.
Yes.
Students join up with institutes, looking at a few websites, looking at a few, after consulting a few students, looking at the numbers that the institutes have. They simply join up, even without, knowing the examination. You look at the past question papers, you'll understand the spirit of the exam, how deep you're supposed to learn, what is the standards that you'll have to attain, with that understanding you'll have to approach the classes. This is actually missing.
So
this is actually missing.
Where the students are misguided and
not misguided actually, but whether they are able to reach up to the standards of the profession. The reason why after finishing of coaching, a student is taking 3 years or 4 years to clear the examination is because of this.
Yes.
In 1 year, he is getting to know something about the subject.
Yes.
It's taking another 2 years for him to actually build on that to
Yes.
attain the standards of the examination.
Yes.
After finishing of your coaching and getting yourself exam ready, the distance is years for
Yes.
students.
Yes, sir.
The reason is this: the students are not able to completely reach up to the standards of the exam, even after they complete their coaching,
Yes.
their mentorship programs, their test series, and after all this also, where they're not able to reach up to the standards of the examination. That's the reason why it's taking such a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. On an average, it is said that for a candidate who had finished his coaching, it takes 1 year, 9 months for him actually to be exam ready. It's some study was done by some Delhi-based institute which says that after having finished off your coaching, you take 1 year, 9 months to be exam ready. And take 2 years.
2 years.
It's taking 2 years for students to be exam ready. So to come out of that trap, what you require to do is you got to ensure that by the time you finish off your coaching, you are exam ready.
Yes.
Okay, at least for general studies and optional also.
So from the day one, the student should be so clear of what he is actually into,
Required to do.
and what he is taking in, and to under whose mentorship he is. So
Working.
these are the elements that you have
And
to
whether
definitely
he is
take care
reaching
of.
up to the standards of the exam or not.
Yes.
That's the key.
So that every time he should be reviewed of these things by our students.
Even I had taken classes for a lot of students also.
So,
I've always been insistent that, see, when you learn a particular option, you please ensure that you learn the optional in such a way that you're able to tackle the examination. You ensure that you're able to reach up to the standards of the examination.
yes.
That is what you're supposed to do. Honest preparation requires us to do this.
Yes, definitely.
It is not completion of syllabus. Today
Yes.
students are just wanting a lot of knowledge, information, and completion of syllabus as quickly as possible. That should not be the approach of students, I think.
Yes, sir, definitely. Saying that, like, in this information age and having so much of information for every student, it's like, what is the ideal way of note making strategy for an optional student?
Yeah. I've always insisted that every student should try to have his or her own notes. One of the things that I've observed as a part of civil services culture here is that the students tend to pick up the notes of somebody else, some toppers notes and all that. A handwritten notes, personally prepared notes. Every person has his own style of preparation.
Yes.
Every person has his own innate abilities. Some are good at analysis, some are good at memorizing, some are good at graphical representation. Everybody has his or her own abilities. It becomes pertinent for every student to try and prepare their own notes.
Yes.
Go to coaching, get the basics right, understand the concept well, understand the standards of the examination, look at the important textbooks, and build and prepare your own notes. That's very, very important.
Yes. And so coming to the next thing, like, can you recommend any important books in this?
See, there are a lot of books. Just I told you, every student has his own approach.
Yes, sir.
There are some students who feel comfortable with some basic books like,
Yes,
if you're looking at Indian polity, 80 to 90% of students feel comfortable with Lakshmi.
Yes.
They consider that as the Bible.
Yeah.
But you know that in civil services examination, there are a lot of questions which were directly based on the information given in DD Basu. There's another book, Introduction to Indian Constitution.
Yes, sir.
That's also considered to be a very important book for a candidate's preparation for civil services. But a lot of students are not comfortable with DD Basu.
Yes.
Because that language is very technical and there is a lot of jargon employed in the narratives and the passages. The students tend to find it very cumbersome.
Yes.
And that's the reason why students tend to look for a much more easier way,
book.
particularly non-arts students.
Yes, especially.
But there are some students who insist on studying DD Basu. So every student will have his own book. But there are a lot of books available in the market. Okay. My suggestion for you is, whenever you choose a book, there are some very important standard books. For example, you have O.P. Gauba for Section A Paper 1. You have Andrew Hayward for Section A Paper 2. You have Oxford books published for Indian polity, for Indian politics and dynamics of Indian politics, as well as international relations. There are some good books which are available in the market. My suggestion for students is just browse through a topic or two in those books, see if that dictum, the style is suiting your preparation, and then you pick up that book. Okay?
Sir, and here one more question, like, is it like for the student necessary to go through entire textbooks like this, or simply have a material from our faculty for like you and go ahead with the examination, understanding the concept clear and everything?
I mean, material helps. Material helps because it presents the entire syllabus in a consolidated manner. That's the only thing that material can do.
Yeah.
Okay, reading textbooks is important. At least for some very, very important. For example, we have Rawlsian theory of justice, which is a very important concept in political science. Every 2 years or 3 years, you have a question on that.
Okay.
To understand that concept properly, after having listened the class, after having gotten your hands on some material, it is also important for you to go through the textbook. Okay, so at least for the most important concepts, the theories, it will be good for students to look at some standard textbooks. Yeah, you have a lot of material available, information available about the standard textbooks. Go through a few textbooks, choose the book. For example, there are some students who are comfortable with Brian O. Nelson. There are some students who are very comfortable with C.L. Viper. There are some students who even look at Dunning, Masters of Political Thought.
Yes.
There are different books available in the market. Choose your books based on your own aptitude.
Yes. So definitely having a textbook study and it definitely helps added advantage for students.
Very much.
Apart from faculty's
at
classes
least
and
for the
material
important
and all,
theories.
Few things.
Yeah, important theories.
Because this we need to actually break down because students are taking the coaching and all still again studying the textbook. Few of the students questioning this thing why again going for textbook. So your answer definitely given them thing.
Yeah, it's important to go to the textbooks. There is no doubt about that. We suggest the students to look at the textbooks and come back to us whenever they have some doubts. After having heard the class, after having gotten some material about that, at least for the important theories, just look at the textbooks. It's important. It will help you.
Yes. So the next question, we actually in this political science study about the political thinkers and all. So how is relevant is studying these political thinkers helps us to understand the Indian politics of today?
Okay, now that's a very tricky question actually. Yes, how the thought, proposed by thinkers about thousands of years back, Plato's...
The context is entirely different.
Yeah. Plato had spoken about communism of wives and property. The fundamental reason why he proposes this idea is to rid the society of corruption. Okay. Don't you think corruption is not there today?
Prevailing?
It's there everywhere. It's been omnipresent throughout the evolution of entire human civilization, isn't it? Corruption in one form or another. So this is a problem which was persistent then, now. Okay, Plato was trying to address this problem, and he came out with a suggestion in the form of communism of wives and property. If you don't have your family, you won't have the urge to accumulate wealth. Because you tend to accumulate wealth for the sake of your children, probably. So don't have your family, don't have your own children. So you lose the urge to accumulate wealth. This is a suggestion which he had given to overcome corruption. Don't you think that we have problems with democracy today? These were the same kind of problems which Plato thought were afflicting societies around 3000 years back. Democracy, he thought, was a government in which it is not the most eligible who rule, but the most popular who rules. Okay, which he thinks is not good for society. The same kind of problem we see in democracy today. Right? Karl Marx was speaking about, there are a lot of people who today claim that Soviet Union has collapsed. So Marxism is no more relevant. Communism is dead and long live Karl Marx and all that. We hear all these slogans. The truth is, probably whatever Karl Marx had prophesied about the advent of a communist society in the future, in which society would not have any problems, may not have come true historically. But the criticism which Karl Marx offered about capitalism is very much relevant. The evils of capitalism which Karl Marx speaks about throughout his entire writings is very much relevant. It gives us a better aid to understand the working and the principles of capitalism today. In that way, probably Karl Marx helps us to understand the dynamics of how the economic system operates. In this way, these thinkers are very relevant.
It's everywhere connected.
It's everywhere. It's all society and social realities.
Economics and politics both connected
some
together.
Some things don't change, even if they were around 1000 years back. Human beings don't change, their urges don't change. Their motives and motivations don't change. They are like that. They write about those things then, they write about those things now also.
So it's so much relevant.
Yeah, it's relevant.
And coming to this, how does PSIR compare with other optionals? Do you think the students feel demotivated or confused because of the vast syllabus of political science?
See, the syllabus part of political science, there is a myth around which says that political science has got a lot of syllabus
Yeah.
and supposed to read two subjects. Paper one is about political thought
And international
paper two is
relations.
about international relations. No, I've heard some students saying, sir, in political science you have to read two subjects. It is not two subjects actually. It is political science and understanding Indian politics in first paper. It's understanding international politics in the second paper. It's all about politics. The
Yes.
syllabus, more or less, is really not the criteria in civil services. Please remember, UPSC is a leveler. It doesn't give an undue advantage to any optional.
Yes.
Whatever the advantage that few optionals claim is only a coincidence.
That's
Political
right.
science claims an advantage
Mm.
in terms of the high amount of coincidence it has with
Yes.
general studies.
Yes.
That's an advantage claimed by political science, and that's true, in fact. But in terms of syllabus, there are some students who say, there are only 10 topics.
Mm.
You just studied 10 topics, your option is over. I hear that about some optionals.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Options like
That's
sociology
happening,
also.
in
Okay?
It's a happening situation.
Yeah,
in fact.
that's how it is portrayed.
Yes.
But you tell me,
Mm.
having small syllabus, is it an advantage or a disadvantage?
Obviously, it is a disadvantage.
It is a disadvantage disguised as an advantage. You know why?
Yes.
For every student, the option is small, the
Yes.
syllabus is small, which actually is not.
Yes.
To get a little more edge in terms of marks, you'll have to do extra readings.
Yes.
You'll have to go through some journals or some other, international authors or books to get that extra edge. And you don't know whether the material that you are consulting is the right material or not. That's a problem.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And secondly, everybody will read
Opt
this.
for it.
Will read the same syllabus.
alone.
How does your answer look special to give you a selection as an IAS officer?
So that will be again one more chase.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem actually.
Yes.
And in fact, please remember, syllabus more, syllabus less. That's actually a myth.
That's not there.
It's really not there.
So we have break that.
Listen,
myth.
political science, you have concepts, you have
Yes.
topics. Learn the basics of all these topics, understand them properly. There is nothing much that you'll have to mug up or memorize.
Nothing.
Some basic facts, of course, every syllabus has that.
Yes.
And every syllabus has very interesting and very dry topics also.
Yes.
This is there for everything.
Everything.
Okay? So, syllabus is more, syllabus is less is actually a myth to demonize political science, which is not the truth.
Okay.
Okay? This is really not the truth.
So don't have this thing in the
Yeah.
mind before selecting.
Every
the
student
political
will have to
science.
put in labor to get a selection. A little more there, a little here, a little less here is really not a criteria. Please remember, one thing is for sure. 70% of the syllabus that you study in political science and international relations helps you in your general studies. 70%. Okay?
Yes.
This is actually an advantage.
Yes,
not a
greater
disadvantage.
advantage in fact, because it is going to save you a lot of time investment in
the entire modern Indian history.
Yes.
Important concepts like
and many
liberalization.
relevance we can give with the thinkers and all. Your
Yeah.
essay going to be a beautiful answer and you
Starting
can give
from 2015, every year
Okay, sir.
in the general essay paper, there is at least one essay which coincides with syllabus in political science.
So there lies the things.
Cooperative federation, relevance of NAM, reforms of United Nations Organization, capitalism and development, so many topics. I can go on and on about the topics that were given in the general essay paper,
Yes.
which coincides with the syllabus in political science. So, whatever is the claim that political science got a lot of syllabus is actually not a disadvantage, it's an advantage.
It's going to cover every paper.
Yeah, and it is not too much also, actually.
Yes.
It seems to be more, but actually it's not.
Yes.
Okay?
And next thing, sir, as this is a political science, is a student how much he has to balance the politically balanced while dealing with this paper? Because he is going to study many thinkers and he's like more clinging towards the political aspects. How much he should be balanced? Because this is an exam of bureaucracy.
Yeah,
He should
that's
enter into bureaucracy, not into a
got to be
political system.
diplomatic, yeah.
Yeah, more diplomatic.
Yeah,
In fact,
of course.
IR, international relations, he'll become, if suppose he becomes an IFS, he's going to be balancing that thing.
That's right.
So how a student should be so balanced while dealing with subject?
Yeah. Please remember that it's not only for political science. Whenever you're writing your answers in civil assessments, you're required to definitely present your views in a balanced way. That's required. We all have our views, particularly when you're writing answers for political science. We all have our own political opinions. We all have our prejudices, our preconceived notions. There is no doubt about that.
Yes.
The one thing that what we require to do as students of political science is that we should humbly study the subject,
Yes.
okay, understand the essence and present it.
So
Without allowing our own notions to color or influence our answers.
So that's very much
the one
important.
thing. Yeah, it's important.
Student
It's
should have
important.
little limitations here.
Yeah,
He should not, his personal things should not, personal orientations or understanding
that's
should
true, not only for political science.
Anything, of course.
Yeah, for any of the answers that
But the
we require.
students here have many things to be generalized.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this is one subject where he's seeing many things with his eyes and all.
That's true.
So he has more things to be
A lot
generalized,
of
analyzed.
Subjectivity is there in political science.
So he should stick on to the subject
Yes.
and politically balance with the current things.
Yes, that's right.
So that keeps him so balanced so that he becomes a diplomatic bureaucrat.
It all depends on the faculty also, you know.
Yes.
There are times
Because-
when I take classes,
So,
when I teach Karl Marx, I see so many students having Karl Marx as their, WhatsApp display picture.
Yes, yes.
The students tend to get influenced by Karl Marx because
Yes.
Marxism is a very, very powerful ideology.
yes, sir.
So when we discuss Marx, students tend to have that inspiration.
Owning themselves and
Yeah,
all.
they tend to identify themselves with ideas
Yeah.
expressed by Marx, and they have him.
Yes.
It happens. It all depends on faculty in inculcating a balanced idea in the students.
Yes.
Okay, you got to tell how Karl Marx was right when he was criticizing capitalism.
Yes.
How Karl Marx was wrong when he was trying to prophesize the future. He was trying to play the role of a prophet, isn't it? How he was wrong there. If we can
Yes.
balance out and give the students the right perspective, they will automatically attain that balance in their answers.
Yes.
It all depends on the faculty, as I told
Yes.
you, right?
So this part definitely the faculty hold them balanced.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. So then I think, see, since like 20 years we're teaching this, like what is making you to stick on to this and have this passion over teaching political science?
Now, one thing that I'll tell you straight, teaching political science helps me develop every day.
Oh,
It requires me to update every day. I require to
Okay.
teach IR, I require
Yes,
to
sir.
teach Indian polity, I require to teach social issues.
Yes.
It keeps me on my toes. It makes me keep, exploring new vistas,
yes.
discovering new things.
I think in a single word, it's making you so dynamic, in fact, day by day.
Yeah, you can keep rolling, without staying stuck at a place.
Yes, that makes you so every day new things to look up.
Yes, madam. That's
Yes,
true.
that's very nice, sir. And lastly, like just summarize in just few words about political science.
Political science,
Yes,
few
sir.
words.
Yes, sir.
I can actually write a book. But in a sentence, you said monarchs, kingdoms, constitutions, governments, revolutions, and ideologies. That is political science.
So students, here you go. This is how Gautam sir has put down everything about political science in a single statement. Hope this session has helped a lot. And really thankful, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
madam.
so
Thank
much,
you so
sir, for
much.
all of your insights and sharing with us and our students. Hope many questions were answered for the students today.
Thank you so
and
much.
we are looking up for the many sessions like this. And we are going to make the subject so effortless for the students also.
Thank you.
And we are going to break up all the myths behind this political science. And Gautam sir is with us. So students who are having that zeal to crack the UPSC exam with the political science, you can definitely have the mentorship from the sir also. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me, madam.
Thank you so much, sir.